White Nights, Night 1. It was a wonderful night, a night that can only happen when we are young, my dear reader. The sky was full of stars, so bright and clear that when you looked at it, you could not stop yourself from asking, how can angry and capricious people live under such a sky? This is also a young question, my dear reader, a very young one. But may God send it to your heart more often. When I speak of capricious and angry people, I cannot avoid remembering my own very proper behavior during that whole day. From early morning, I felt a strange sadness. Suddenly, it seemed to me that everyone was leaving me, that everyone was turning away. Of course, anyone may ask, who are these everyone? Because I have lived in Petersburg for 8 years and have not made almost any acquaintances. But why do I need acquaintances? I already know all of Petersburg. That is why it seemed to me that everyone was leaving when the whole city rose up and suddenly went to the summer houses outside the town. I became afraid to stay alone. For 3 days I walked through the city, deeply sad, not understanding what was happening to me. Whether I walked along Nevsky Prospect, or in a garden, or along the river embankment, I did not see a single familiar face, not one of those I was used to meeting every day in the same place, at the same hour, for a whole year. They did not know me, of course, but I knew them. I knew them well. I had almost studied their faces. I enjoyed seeing them happy, and I felt low when their faces were gloomy. I had almost made friends with one old man whom I met every single day at the same hour on the Fontanka River. His face was serious and thoughtful. He always whispered something to himself and waved his left hand, and in his right hand he held a long stick with a golden handle. Even he had noticed me and took some interest in me. If I failed to appear at the usual hour on the Fontanka, I am sure he would feel gloomy. Sometimes we almost greeted each other, especially when both of us were in good spirits. Recently, when we had not seen each other for 2 days and finally met on the 3rd day, we almost took off our hats, but suddenly realized what we were doing, lowered our hands, and passed each other with silent sympathy. I also know all the houses. When I walk, each of them seems to run ahead, look at me from every window, and almost say, "Hello, how is your health? I am fine," and in May they will add one more floor to me. Or, "How is your health? They will repair me tomorrow." Or, "I almost burned down and was very frightened," and so on. I even have favorites among them. One of them plans to be repaired this summer by an architect. I will visit it every day to make sure they do not ruin it. May God protect it. But I will never forget the story with one pretty little pink house. It was such a cute stone house. It looked at me so kindly, so proudly compared to its clumsy neighbors, that my heart rejoiced whenever I passed it. Suddenly, last week, I walked down the street, and looking at my friend, I seemed to hear a sad cry. They are painting me yellow. Villains, barbarians, they spared nothing. Not the columns, not the cornices. And my dear friend turned yellow like a canary. I almost became sick with anger, and even now I cannot bring myself to visit my poor, ruined little friend, painted in the color of the Chinese Empire. So now, reader, you understand how I know all of Petersburg. For 3 days I suffered until I finally understood the reason. It was bad for me outside. No one here, no one there. Where had everyone gone? But at home, I also felt uneasy. For 2 evenings, I tried to understand what was missing in my little room. Why did it feel so uncomfortable to stay there? I looked with confusion at my green, smoky walls, at the ceiling covered with spider webs so well made by Matryona, my maid. I checked all my furniture, every chair, because if even one chair stands differently from yesterday, I cannot feel calm. I looked out of the window, and all this was useless. I felt no better. I even called Matryona and gave her a gentle, fatherly scolding for the spiderwebs and her untidiness. But she only looked at me with surprise and went away without a word. So the spiderwebs are still there. Finally, this morning, I understood what was happening. Of course, they were all running away to the summer houses. Forgive me the simple expression, but I was not in the mood for elegant language, because truly, everything in Petersburg had gone or was going to the country. Every respectable gentleman who hired a cab before my eyes instantly became a respectable father of a family, going after his work to the peaceful summer home of his family. Every passerby now had a special look, as if saying to everyone, "We are only here for a moment. In 2 hours we will be gone to the summer house." When a window opened and a pretty girl tapped on it with her thin white fingers to call a seller of flower pots, I immediately imagined that she was buying flowers not to enjoy them in her hot city room, but to take them with her to the country very soon. And so strong my new ability to guess became that I could almost always tell by a person's look where exactly they lived outside the city. Residents of Kameny or Aptekarsky Islands, or of the Peterhof Road, could be recognized by their elegant manners, their fashionable summer clothes, and the beautiful carriages they used to come to the city. People from Pargolovo or from even farther away looked serious and practical at first sight. Visitors of Krestovsky Island always had a cheerful and calm expression. If I happened to meet a long line of heavy carts, slowly moving, with drivers walking beside them and holding the reins, and the carts carried mountains of furniture, tables, chairs, sofas of all kinds, and other household items, and on top of all this often sat a thin cook, guarding her master's property like a treasure. Or if I looked at boats full of household things going along the Neva or the Fontanka toward the islands, then the carts and boats seemed to multiply 10 times in my eyes. It felt as if everything and everyone was moving to the summer houses, as if whole caravans were leaving the city. It seemed as if all of Petersburg was turning into a desert. Finally, I felt ashamed, hurt, and sad, because I had no place to go and no reason to go to any summer house. I was ready to leave with any carriage or go with any respectable gentleman hiring a cab, but not one person invited me. It was as if they all forgot about me, as if I truly was a stranger to everyone. I walked a long time, until I completely forgot where I was, as I often do. Suddenly I found myself near the city gates. At once my heart felt lighter, and I stepped outside the barrier. I walked between green fields and meadows. I did not feel tired. I only felt that some heavy weight was falling away from my soul. All the people passing by looked at me so kindly that they almost greeted me. Everyone seemed happy, and everyone was smoking cigars. I was also happy, happier than I had ever been before. It felt as if I had suddenly arrived in Italy. Nature had such a strong effect on me. A sickly city man who had almost suffocated inside stone walls. There is something deeply touching in our Petersburg nature, when in spring it suddenly shows all its beauty, all its power, and covers itself with green leaves and bright flowers. It reminds me of a young girl who is pale and sickly, whom you sometimes look at with pity or gentle sympathy, and sometimes do not notice at all. But suddenly, for one short moment, she becomes incredibly and wonderfully beautiful. You look at her, surprised and enchanted, and ask yourself, what made those sad eyes shine with such fire? Why did blood suddenly color her thin cheeks? Why did her delicate face become so alive and full of passion? What caused this sudden strength, this beauty that disappeared as suddenly as it came? And you feel sorry that her moment of beauty passed so quickly, that she faded again before you even had time to fall in love with her. But still, my night was better than my day. Here is how it happened. I returned to the city very late, and it was already 10 o'clock when I approached my house. My way went along the canal embankment, where at that hour you can hardly meet a single person. It is true that I live in the farthest part of the city. I was walking and singing, because when I am happy, I always hum something to myself, like any happy person who has no friends or close acquaintances with whom he could share his joy. And suddenly, the most unexpected event happened to me. To the side, leaning on the canal railing, stood a woman. Resting on the fence, she seemed to look very carefully at the dark water of the canal. She wore a pretty yellow hat and a charming black mantilla. She is a girl, and surely a brunette, I thought. She did not seem to hear my steps. She did not move when I passed her, holding my breath and with my heart beating fast. Strange, I thought. She must be thinking deeply about something. And suddenly I stopped as if frozen. I heard a quiet sob. Yes, I was not mistaken. The girl was crying. After a moment, I heard another sob, and another. My heart squeezed painfully. Although I am very shy with women, this was such a moment. I turned back, stepped toward her, and would have surely said, "Madam," if only this word had not already been repeated thousands of times in all Russian high society novels. That alone stopped me. While I tried to find the right word, the girl woke up from her thoughts, looked around, seemed startled, lowered her eyes, and quickly walked past me along the embankment. I immediately followed her, but she noticed it, left the embankment, crossed the street, and went along the sidewalk. I did not dare cross the street. My heart trembled like a frightened bird. But suddenly, fate helped me. On the other side of the street, not far from my unknown girl, a gentleman in a tailcoat appeared. He was of respectable age, but certainly not of respectable behavior. He walked unsteadily and leaned carefully on the wall. The girl walked fast and shyly, as all girls walk, who do not want anyone to follow them home at night. A man like that gentleman could never catch her, if fate had not given him another idea. Suddenly, without saying a word, he ran forward, rushing to catch up with the girl. She walked like the wind, but the swaying gentleman was getting closer and closer. He reached her, she cried out, and at that moment I silently thanked fate for the excellent stick that I happened to have in my right hand. In a second, I was already on the other side of the street. In another second, the rude gentleman understood what was happening, noticed my stick, and immediately stopped his bold behavior. He stepped back quietly, and when we were already far away, he began loudly protesting and shouting something at me. But his words could hardly reach us. "Give me your hand," I said to my unknown girl, "and he will not dare follow us any more." She silently gave me her hand, which was still trembling from fear and shock. Oh, how I blessed that rude man in this moment. Thanks to him, she trusted me now. I looked at her quickly. She was very pretty and a brunette. I had guessed correctly. On her long black eyelashes there were still tears, maybe from recent fear, maybe from earlier sadness. I could not tell. But a smile already appeared on her lips. She also looked at me shyly, blushed a little, and lowered her eyes. "Now you see," I said. "Why did you push me away before? If I had been here, nothing would have happened." "But I didn't know you," she said softly. "I thought you were also like that man. And do you know me now?" "A little. For example, tell me, why are you trembling?" "Oh, you guessed that at once," I cried with joy, happy that she was so clever. Intelligence never hurts beauty. Yes, you understood from the first look who I am. It's true, I am very shy with women. I am excited now, not less than you were a minute ago, when that man frightened you. I feel scared now. It feels like a dream. Even in a dream, I never thought that I would someday speak with any woman. "What? Really?" she asked in surprise. "Yes. If my hand is shaking, it is because never before has such a pretty, small hand held mine. I am not used to women. In fact, I have never been used to them. I am always alone. I don't even know how to talk to them. And now, I do not know if I have said something foolish. Please tell me honestly. I warn you, I am not easily offended. No, no, nothing foolish, she said. On the contrary, and if you want me to be honest, I will tell you that women like such shyness. And if you want to know even more, I like it too. And I will not send you away until we reach my home. You will make me so happy. I began, almost breathless with excitement, that I will stop being shy, and then all my charm will be gone. Charm? What charm, and why? She said, laughing. That is not a very good thing to say. Forgive me, I won't say it again, I answered quickly. It slipped from my mouth. But how do you expect someone not to want to please someone, right? She said, still smiling. Well, yes, I admitted. Please be kind to me. Think who I am. I am already 26 years old. And I have never known any woman. So how can I speak well, clearly, or cleverly? It is better when everything in me is open and honest. I cannot keep silent when my heart is speaking. She listened, half smiling, half curious. But it does not matter, I continued. Would you believe that I have fallen in love many times? But with whom? She asked, surprised. With no one, I said. With an ideal. With the woman who appears to me in my dreams. I create whole romances in my imagination. Oh, you do not know me. I have met maybe 2 or 3 women in real life. But what kind of women were they? They were all strict housekeepers. She laughed softly, and I continued. But I will make you laugh even more. Several times I thought of speaking to some noble lady on the street when she was alone. To speak shyly, respectfully, passionately. To tell her that I was perishing alone, that she should not send me away, that I had no way to meet any woman. I wanted to remind her that even in a woman's duties, there is something that says she should not reject a timid request from such an unhappy man as I am. And all I would ask from her were just 2 kind, friendly words. Just to listen to me, to laugh at me if she wanted, to give me hope with 2 or 3 words. And after that, we would never need to meet again. But you are laughing. It would be upset, she said gently. I laugh because you are your own enemy. If you tried, you might succeed, even on the street. The simpler, the better. No good woman would send you away without giving you those 2 little words you ask for. But she might think you are mad at first, she added, smiling. I speak only for myself. I know how people live in the world. Oh, thank you, I cried. You don't know what you have done for me. Very well, she said. But tell me, why did you decide that I was a woman with whom you could speak? That I was worthy of attention and friendship, not just a strict housekeeper, as you call them? Why did you come to me? Why? Why? I repeated. But you were alone. That man was too bold, and it was night. You must agree that it is a duty. No, no, she interrupted. I mean earlier, on the other side of the canal. You wanted to come then. Didn't you? I don't know how to answer, I said softly. I'm afraid. But you see, today I was happy. I was walking and singing. I had been outside the city. And then, you, forgive me if I speak too directly, it seemed to me that you were crying. And I could not bear it. My heart felt tight. Could I not feel sad for you? Was it really a sin to feel brotherly sympathy? Stop, don't say more, she whispered, lowering her eyes and gently squeezing my hand. I should not have asked, but I am glad I was not mistaken in you. We walked a little more, and then she said quietly, but here we are. This is my home. I need to turn into this little lane. Just a few steps. Goodbye. Thank you. So, will we really never see each other again? I cried suddenly. Will everything remain like this? You see, she said with a soft laugh. First you wanted only 2 words, and now you want more. But I won't say anything. Maybe we will meet again. I will come here tomorrow, I said quickly. Oh, forgive me, I'm demanding again. Yes, you are impatient, she said teasingly, almost insisting. Listen, please, I said. Forgive me if I say something foolish again. But I cannot not come tomorrow. I am a dreamer. I have so little real life that such moments as this one are very rare. I will think about this moment the whole night, the whole week, the whole year. I will come here tomorrow, to this same place, at the same hour, and I will be happy remembering today. I already love this place, I continued. I have 2 or 3 such special places in Petersburg. Once I even cried from memory there. Maybe you too, 10 minutes ago, were crying because of a memory. Forgive me, I forgot myself again. Perhaps you were once very happy here. All right, she said softly. I will come here tomorrow, also at 10 o'clock. I see that I cannot forbid you, but listen, I must tell you something. I do need to come here. Do not think that I am arranging a meeting for you. I warn you honestly, I must be here for myself. But, well, I will say it directly. It will not be bad if you also come. She smiled lightly. First, she added, something unpleasant may happen again, like today, but that is not the main reason. I simply would like to see you, to tell you 2 words. Then she looked at me more seriously. Only please, do not judge me. Do not think that I give meetings so easily. I would give one if, well, let that be my secret. But there is one condition. A condition? I cried joyfully. Tell me everything. I accept anything. I will be obedient, respectful. You know me. Yes, she said, laughing softly. I know you very well. That is exactly why I invite you tomorrow. I understand you completely. She stopped for a moment and then said, but here is the condition. Do not fall in love with me. That is impossible, believe me. Friendship? Yes, gladly. Here is my hand. But falling in love? No, please don't. I swear, I began, grabbing her hand. No, don't swear, she interrupted quickly. I know you. You can catch fire like gunpowder. Don't judge me for speaking so directly. If only you knew. I also have no one with whom I can say a word, with whom I can ask for advice. Of course, one cannot look for advisors on the street, but you are an exception. I know you as if we had already been friends for 20 years. Promise me you will not change. You will see, I said softly. But how will I live even one day until tomorrow? She laughed gently. Sleep well, she said. Good night, and remember, I trust you now. She paused, looked at me thoughtfully, and added, You said something earlier about how one should not give an account for every feeling, even for brotherly sympathy. That was so well said that I decided to trust you, a little. For God's sake, trust me with what? I asked quickly. What is it? Tomorrow, she said with a secretive smile. Let it remain a mystery for now. It will be better that way. At least it will feel like a romance. Maybe I will tell you tomorrow, or maybe not. We will talk first. We must get to know each other better. Oh, I will tell you everything about myself tomorrow, I cried. What is happening to me? It feels like a miracle. Tell me, are you not happy that you did not get angry with me, as another girl would have done, and did not send me away at once? In just 2 minutes, you made me forever happy. Yes, happy. Maybe you helped me finally make peace with myself. But tomorrow, I will tell you everything. Very well, she said softly. I accept. You will begin tomorrow. I agree, I replied. Goodbye, she whispered. Goodbye, and we separated. I walked all night. I could not return home. I was so happy, until tomorrow.